was really.
Oh, we're going?
And we're back.
Hello.
Hi,
Or Hammer Dan if you're a trucker.
I'm Jenifer Louise Garcia.
I'm Pancake, the Syrup King.
I'm Syrup, also known as Camo. Government named Christopher Berry. Thank you for having me here as well.
And we lost Abby Laporte to the streets of the Tenderloin.
Well, when the prices are so cheap from those retailers, those resellers on the street, those stealers who resell, how do you, do they have a name yet? People who go to CVS and take all their anti-diuretic medication and then try to sell it on the street, and then when someone goes to that CVS looking for an
I believe I saw a YouTube video about how you can make 5 times your profit by doing this. I know
Oh.
exactly what you're talking about. It's
What?
awesome. It's resale market. There's this guy who
drop selling?
basically, but it's a little slicker than that. This guy has a bunch of spires for you, and you go raid the local Walgreens or CVS, and you give this said person the medication or strips you have, and he pays you $15 for each one. They sell it for 60, 75 to people who need them. Disappointing it is. Can you do it again?
Martin Shkreli.
Unfortunate it is.
that kind of, his name kind of does sound like a curse. Martin Shkreli.
I concur. I really do.
But they put him away, or they gave him a fat fucking fine. They taxed his ass back to jail.
The streets don't love nobody. Neither does a tax man.
Tax man.
Hey, since we lost Abby to the streets, do you think she'll come back with a street name?
Abbers?
La Abby, maybe?
Hmm.
Depends on what she consumes. I mean, if she's eating pizza, maybe it might be Bella.
I mean, maybe it wasn't her and she's kidnapped. I'm not sure.
Why
Because
sounds very
one
bad.
moment she was like, I'm going out for pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And the next she was like, I'm not returning. Thank you.
Awkward.
I think she also said something similar to, my iPhone password is super easy to guess. So.
Clearly worth more than a chortle. I like that. Hey, Pancake, good job from Syrup.
Oh, thank you.
Bromance all day. This is our first day too, just starting this relationship. It's really awesome. Romancing.
So you're from New York?
I wish I was. No. One of my lyrics when I used to be a rapper and I had bad credit was Cali nigga with a New York attitude, and it was very apropos. I'm very impatient and cutthroat and to the point, but I grew up in Sacramento. I like to say South Sacramento, where we shoot sideways to scare Caucasian people, and they go, "You're from South Sacramento? How'd you make it out?" Like, I don't know. It's lions, tigers, and bears, and niggers with guns everywhere. It's indeed scary. Yes, Sacramento is where I grew up, and I spent I would say, a substantial amount of time on the East Coast. I did 6 years. I felt like for transition. I did 6 years in the Air Force.
Oh my God!
I know, it's insane.
That's
right?
the branch I would have wanted to join.
Josh and me.
No.
I'll tell you what, I knew we was gonna get along better than pigs and shit when I first seen you. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew we was gonna do right.
So what did you do when you were working for the man?
Well,
When you were the man.
that's the sound of the man working on the chain. I was actually a jet engine mechanic, 2 Alpha 6531. The fact that I remember that shows you that programming does work. And although my job was to turn wrenches, I didn't do that. I quickly realized that social intelligence is just as important as smarts, and I found out who the squadron leader was, and I started working at a command post and editing emails while I did my classwork on duty. Tax dollars hard at work.
My grandfather, he's my brother's grandfather, but he's my brother's step grandfather. Anyway,
He's whatever you say he is. Keep going, sir.
he was in the Marine Corps, and when I was little, he was like, I gotta go on base. I gotta do a couple hours or something. He like did paperwork, and now he like works for now he like does inventory and stuff for a big company. But we were on base, and I was like 8 or 9,
Okay.
and the what do they call that guy? Not the chief. That's
Gunnery sergeant.
no general.
Oh, the stars.
Yeah,
Gang, gang.
he had a big office, and he had a big Marine Corps emblem on the wall.
How big was it?
Well, for a 6-year-old, it was pretty big.
Massive.
Yeah,
Got it. Keep going.
and he's like,
Mm.
you know what? I like you, and blah blah blah. And I was like, whoa, I get to spend time with the general. And
Shaquille O'Neal also.
no, that's icy hot.
But he has a general insurance too.
I know.
I love you so quick. We should do this again sometime. Continue, please.
I don't know if it was that visit or a different visit that I got to ride in a tank. Like they do this for regular people.
Sounds slightly sexual. I like it. Keep going.
Ride around in a tank.
Is that code word for something?
Was he Catholic? Was he a Boy Scout troop master as well? Riding around in the tanks. It's not a Master P song, so
I have no idea his religious affiliation.
just curious. Riding around in a tank. Did you ride on his lap as well?
No.
Okay, cool. Continue.
That was the first time I got the big box of crayons.
Ooh.
And I wasn't a crayon kid at that point. I was like, you're giving me all these colors.
Head scratcher.
And I gotta look, and you gave me the new Batman and Robin coloring book.
The nerve.
They just came out.
With the shits, bro.
Yeah.
With the shits, on God.
But, I mean, it was cool to look at the pictures. I didn't want to mess them up with crayon.
Right.
You know?
Right. Are you more of a watercolor guy? Or color pencils, perhaps?
I saw the back. They put this image of things you can draw with these colors.
Shit.
And it's like,
yes.
you had a master fucking do
Right.
that.
Picasso-esque.
You have to practice.
Yeah. They don't tell you that you're supposed to like mess it up to blend either.
It's a bit like fornication or doing a horizontal bump. You gotta practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
But also, the dirtier you get, the better it is.
I would say
for
the funner
everyone.
it is, the funner.
Yeah.
Yeah, for lack of a better word.
Fun.
Absolutely.
Well, do you want it?
Fun bags, funner,
Right.
whatever, right? There's that.
So what do you have on that piece of paper, Patrick?
I have some notes from the other show. Jen, you are a joker. This one,
Jeez.
junk apparel. I don't know what I wrote there.
Junk apparel?
Did I tell you?
It's got the same. It's more like a pier.
It's like a bra for your balls.
It could also say John K. Andrews.
Ball sack. Sling, your nut sack.
Born and raised metropolit. Cost of fame and privacy.
Privacy.
I like privacy versus privacy.
Well, it's not guaranteed in the Constitution.
Now there's a happy ending when you go to rub and tug, but you know who's been playing.
Right.
There's that.
Totally.
Shout out to Robert Kraft,
Okay.
owner of the Patriots. He got caught apparently getting a happy ending massage, and it made it disappear because he has money. He's a billionaire. These things disappear.
Oh. Wait,
Yeah.
you just confessed to having doublethink.
I did. That's correct. You got that. I noticed
And
that
I'm a witness, so I'm equally as guilty. Jennifer, you are also.
What are we talking about?
I thought the soothing voice could get away with all kinds of debauchery, but I see you caught that. That was very slick.
Doublethink.
Doublethink.
He knows something that was taken off of the internet.
Yes.
That was paid for to be taken off the internet.
And it's called
Preposterous.
doublethink?
Correct.
Yeah. We've never been at war with East Asia. But we've always been at war with East Asia. So which one do you remember?
Ooh, well said.
Is this like the Mandela? Wait. The Mandela
The Nelson effect?
Mandela effect?
Yeah. The President Nelson effect?
Yeah.
No. No.
I like the soft button. No for 5,000. You do not make it to the next round. Indeed, you need to go home and regroup yourself and try again. It's not your day. I actually like the direction we're going with this because I feel one of my favorite skits from SNL is when the ladies go, talk about the bee's knees. I see what's between his knees. Those two ladies in SNL, they talk really subtly, like radio voices, and they make subtle
Oh,
sexual.
sweaty balls?
Yes, thank you, exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly, indeed. So it's like kind of paying homage.
Oh, those are nice.
Wow, we.
It's lovely balls. There's so many things you can talk about sexually, like this red thing in the tip of your face.
Mm-hmm.
Just the tip.
Rudolph's
Just the tip.
nose.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
John Wayne Gacy would be so happy to see this.
It's very red. It's where all the blood is collecting.
It's rather round, I'd say, as well, too.
Well, this is unraveled quite nicely. John Wayne Gacy.
Are you being seen by the camera?
John Wayne Gacy was a professional clown.
Doesn't matter, I think. John Wayne Gacy.
That's a
Why do you think there's people that idolize
Serial
murderers and serial killers and school shooters these days?
Because it's an example of extreme behavior. Whether someone's like really altruistic, allegedly, quote unquote, and they're trying to help with a local, let's say Goodwill, which has $1 billion they raised in California alone, and then they say we're helping give people jobs to get back on their feet, but we'll pay you $14 an hour, so you have to sell various drugs on the side and have a miserable life because you don't have the opportunities other people have because they're socioeconomic level.
Yeah, Goodwill does not treat its employees
They
good.
treat them horribly. In Sacramento, there's a story where this guy got his arm removed one time, and he was fresh out of prison trying to get on his feet, and they did nothing to compensate him. So it is interesting to me because what we do and say are two different things.
Was that part of his term in sentencing?
Actually, it wasn't, even though it sounded very barbaric. It would be very interesting nonetheless, but he was a Latino man that was trying to get on his feet, so to speak, and he had a really major accident at work, and didn't go so well. And he did have Aflac.
At work?
The Goodwill, yeah. Put people to work, training them properly. All the real estate they own, loving people. So, okay, back to your point. I do think that people admire and look up to serial killers because they live vicariously through them. We all have light and dark emotions we experience. So someone like Ted Bundy's fascinating because he was so handsome and intelligent and charming. He looks disarming, but he was a savage beast, and that intrigues and scares us. I think everyone was thinking Grow Rich, or if it's Earl Nightingale, The Stranger's Secret, but he said we're drawn and repulsed by things we love and hate. We're drawn to that. So it's very true, like the Madonna complex. You want a woman who's like a whore, but you also want to be a great wife. And that's very much how our psyche works.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it.
What do you think, Richard?
To have the worst and the best thing be the same thing, that's life,
Yes.
essentially. You get all the good things, all the bad things. You know, fuck you, God. But for all the bad things God's done, He's also given me all the best blessings.
Amen.
Fucking ass.
Fucking dickhole.
Yeah, there should be two separate entities that give us good and bad things so we can love that one and hate that one.
Yeah. And they should wear different colors that are vibrant.
Yeah.
And have a pitchfork.
Yeah. And one should always live above and one should always live below.
Dude, that sounds awesome. Like, and one should be like totally like, what's that bit? Nice to know you, incubus, succubus energy, but like not really say what his name is, but kind of have like a dark energy. You know what I mean? Like, fangy type of teeth, and it's just personifying the darkness that's within us. But we don't want to discuss that. We'll pretend like we don't like it, but we totally do.
The shadow self. Who is that?
Robert Greene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is that a nerd orgasm? Excuse me. Give me a moment. I'll be back. Okay.
And we're back.
And we're back. I might just change my undergarments later, but I appreciate that reference more than you realize, good sir. Absolutely. See that? When I do that, I mean it. Absolutely.
Well, I feel like each of us as humans, you know, process anger and grief and rage to some degree, whatever degree we're capable of that. And I feel like certain people want to pretend that we're each not capable of rage enough to maybe hurt someone.
Yeah.
But I feel given the correct like set of circumstances, anyone is capable, maybe even on accident, of doing something. So when it comes to serial killers, it's uh, interesting, you know, how some people get by. They're just like killing people or cutting off titties and putting titties in
What's this?
pockets. That's
Oh,
a
they
true story.
should cut off fun
It's
facts,
like
right?
taking it's like
Not
all,
the titties.
I mean, but here's the thing, like,
Ah.
you know, not all serial killers are built alike. It's just that dark part of humanity that we're like, okay, what kind of day were they having when they killed their fifth victim? Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it's healthy though to, you know, it's like Charles Manson made music and art and those types of things.
Which is kind of eerie.
Does that mean that he's not an artist because he's a murderer?
No.
Can you separate the man from the art?
Bigger the sinner, bigger the saint.
Hmm.
Bigger the sinner, bigger the saint. Woody Harrelson's daddy was a killer, a hitman
Really?
in Texas.
Is that true?
I'm dead ass serious. That's why he brings a certain amount of darkness to his role.
Hmm.
Tom, what's the guy with the British guy? Oh, I came for a proper fucking gunfight. Tom, the British guy plays Venom,
Hardy.
former crackhead.
He was?
I'm telling you, I'm going somewhere with this, Mike. Philip Seymour Hoffman, heroin, crack cocaine. If you go to the lower depths of your feelings and emotions, that's where you bring all the goodness out on camera that you see, and it gets uncomfortable, and we like that. But we don't want to admit that. There's a reason we like certain characters, even though we can't do that on a day-to-day basis. Somebody's like, fuck that bitch at Starbucks, and fuck that person at Trader Joe's. And if I could, I'd fucking hit him and drive off. Some people feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that seeing someone else go to that extreme, like, well, at least I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted Bundy beat the shit out of someone with a damn post, bludgeoning him to death. That's kind of extreme. You know what I mean? Like, and here's another fun one. I started working recently at a place that's known for, let's say, electric vehicles, right? And I went through orientation. And do you know that last month on the 21st, the said company had someone get murdered in the parking lot, and they didn't mention it at all in the orientation for 2 days, and they told us about security. But they did tell us not to smoke from a bong in the parking lot or to sell any hard class 1 drugs, but they didn't mention the guy who got murdered in the parking lot a month ago. Isn't that interesting?
It's not an apartment. It's not a house. You're not buying.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters. Tony Starks, if he's personified that company. Someone died in the parking lot. Mr. Salermo, someone waited 8 hours to kill another man and sit in the parking lot and waited to knock someone's head off. When they found the guy who got murdered, his keys were still in the door. So I'm in orientation, and security goes, hey, if y'all got any problems and stuff, let us know. If you have a man coming for your vehicle, we're gonna try to stop that. If you got some concerns with the parking, don't fight over the parking spots, but just call us up, and we'll look out for you. And this one dude from Oakland's like, hey, bro, how come they talking about blowing his head knocked off in the parking lot, though? That nigga died last month. I was like, translation for my white people don't speak that hood speak. Someone was murdered in the parking lot at a Fortune 500 company, and they didn't mention it at all. I never felt like such a peon in my life. I'm like, they really don't give a fuck about us. Not at all.
That's terrible.
Right, don't you think so? I agree, it is. I feel bad for the person who got murdered, and the other person, like, to be that angry. The guy quit. The story is this: the Latino fellow was upset, walks off the job, goes to the parking lot, right? When you quit, I've been fired off jobs. They escort my ass off the site. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not even a race. It's like, that's just good protocol. Because you never know, someone might go postal. They have the term for a reason. Dude goes, sits in his car and waits. The said place works 8 to 12 hour shifts. He just sits there waiting until the other guy comes out. When the guy comes out, he puts his keys in his door to go home to see his children, and he gets murdered in the parking lot. And the owner of the company hasn't even mentioned it publicly at all. I feel some kind of way about charging stations now.
Whoa, charging stations.
You dig what I'm saying?
They're gonna be everywhere.
Solar roofs and battery packs and shit. There's always a cost, man. Just like economics, opportunity cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a zero-sum game. Anytime someone wins or gains, someone else is losing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful, this place employs everyone, but it also sad that it shows you how little they value human life. And that's what I don't like anymore. I want to do something about that and speak up.
They care when it's part of their agenda and it's like gonna sway you in a certain way.
Exactly.
And then if it doesn't serve their political whim, it's not important. You are not important unless if they're trying to win a union vote or something. But we were talking about
Pink Floyd, just another brick in the wall.
before we got here, before we started recording, we were talking about Amazon and how that there was a tornado next to a warehouse,
That's
and
it.
they told them just keep working, and um, maybe one person died. I'm not sure, but
Wow.
then they started talking about only 6 people died this month.
Only.
This month,
Wow.
and they hire so many people, and then when they use you up, when you're done, you're just another body. Um,
That's sad.
and then they're trying to reduce how many people, how many bodies are at work anyway, with all the automation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I met this CEO of a startup, CEO for a startup, however big that may be. Um, he's trying to, he's making a startup that will um, increase the automation in Fortune 500 companies, that will like take out as many people as they can, and for some, for some this is good, for some this is terrible, because you need a job, you need to work. But if there's a robot taking your job, do you need to work? If there are robots doing it, the I mean, with all this automation, why are we freeing up jobs? Aren't we supposed to have less jobs so we can pursue our passions and make those a job?
Right.
What are we doing here? How did we get to this? How did these things get in front of us? They were made by hobbyists, and they said, "Oh, I can make something better than what GE is making."
True.
And then we were also talking about people who make things and then disappear. Have a car that runs on water, and then you disappear.
Vanish.
Or worse, what they did to Nikola Tesla, have him die penniless and unloved. But then, what did they do after he died? They went and ransacked his stuff.
He used his ideas.
Mm-hmm.
At least he's got his name on a vehicle. That's circling back. We just circle back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Absolutely splendid. I love when a plan comes together.
Now I feel like for myself, like I've worked in temporary positions, and so I felt like many corporations had a narcissistic or type of point of view where workers just weren't valued. They were replaceable.
Yeah.
And in my grandfather's age, and I was really lucky to have known my great grandparents and things like that. But in my grandpa's age, if you worked for a company, you could work there for 30 years and
Absolutely.
retire and have, made enough money to buy a home.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way that it is now. And if for any reason, temporary workers are just not a protected class of people, especially during COVID.
Wow.
They can't work remotely sometimes. It's definitely interesting how if corporations are looked at with the rights of people, then what kind of people are corporations when they're poisoning, like Flint, Michigan type stuff, or, even, I think, oh gosh, LaCroix water or something is
Yeah.
distributed or bottled just like 40 miles from Flint, which I think is interesting.
Never
But
been a fan of LaCroix. It's never doesn't suit my palate at all.
Mm.
I know, interesting. We still have a bromance though. Continue.
I mean, I hear of restaurants that I've frequented my whole life, And I heard very casually that one of them outbid Purina when they were buying their meat. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yuck.
As a
Ugh.
people, it's like,
That's hella nasty, bro.
it was just casually dropped on
That's
the,
hella nasty, bro. I eat Taco Bell. That's hella nasty.
But you knew exactly what I was talking about, and I didn't even say Taco Bell.
Sipping
I must
on my,
have told
yeah,
you.
I just right away, ding, I can hear it like I'm programmed. Ding. With the cat Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Cat meat was a theory when I was a kid. They got cat meat in Taco Bell. That shit still tastes good to me.
I was telling Patrick that I think a Japanese scientist in 2013 or something like that had invented a way to make steak out of human feces.
Ah,
And
stop
then I
it.
had never and I had never heard anything about it since.
That's hella
So they
nasty, bro.
haven't tested that on humans yet?
I
That
swear to
sounds
God.
odd.
I mean, that sounds like some cool future tech for people that will become Martians.
That's taking recycling too damn far.
I mean,
Recycle, reduce, reuse, repoop.
the Matrix.
Repoop.
We're
Like that, thank you.
we're eating dead things all the time. Wait, we're doing that now. We eat dead things all the time.
Ooh.
We're eating our surroundings. Our surroundings are us. We are stardust. So,
Shout out to David Bowie. In transition. Sorry, I had to. I
uh,
got some top pants now because of that.
yeah.
There's that.
I just wish there was more assistance from corporations actually doing good things within the. I want to hear more success stories.
That's why I feel we need more Ben and Jerry's.
Wait, you don't?
We do. No, I agree with you. I'm sorry. We do. We need a Ben and Jerry's corporation where they really give a fuck about people. Trader Joe's, they have employees owning a company. And to me, whether we're talking about labor and things like that, that might be the premise of our show, like things that the rights we have that we take for granted. Because I feel like people need to understand what they have at their disposal to make changes that we need to benefit whatever your interest might be. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Whether you're a worker who works at a hotel in this overpriced city in San Francisco, and you clean rooms, and you know you're good and goddamn well if you're doing 2-3 jobs, you can't make it. That's not fair. And what bothers me about technology is that the theory is if you have technology improve things like the cotton mill, what's Henry Ford, assembly line, right?
Mm-hmm.
In theory, you would think we have more room for the margins so we can hire more people, but that's the opposite of what happened. You see, now, okay, what's California? The minimum wage hasn't been raised federally in over like decades. How is that okay? And inflation's 3% every year, 7% last year. It's not fair to people who are working and trying to be honest and do the right thing. And that kind of saddens me, actually.
Right.
It really does.
Well, you exploit this state for all that it's worth, and then you go to another state where you can do your best to skirt rules that are held in other places, and then you use the advantages there, and then you go to the next state.
I really think there are little things that everyday people do within these organizations that help keep these injustices in place. And I think it's important. For instance, take someone working in a corporate culture that wants to hoard or hide information about their job for job security.
Right.
Those types of things hinder growth. I've seen really toxic work environments and in which it wasn't about doing the right thing. It was about keeping your job.
Right.
I've worked for people who won't service certain disabled people, and then I have to go and intervene somehow. I've seen a lot of weird shit. I feel like it's up to us individually to kind of question who we are in the workplace. It's not like we check out of our souls and then go to this workplace and implement, the administrative code. Although many of us do, I feel like it's up to us to try to find just small ways too, how we either allow certain types of attitudes within that culture. Because I think, I don't know, it's most Only in startup environments have I found more collaborative, innovative ways to like work together, and I see like a lot of hyper growth as opposed to like government organizations or more conservative corporate environments.
Well, that only lasts so long. Like the startups that happened here, the the cohesiveness of the community um, is there, and then they get a little bit of money, and then oops, sorry, we're not as community driven as we once were when we were young. You know, when we were naive, we were trying to save the world. It turns out it doesn't want to be saved. A corporation is a person. It has the rights of a person now. So to uh, hinder a company's growth is to violate, you know, someone's humanity.
Well, I'm looking up this case called Citizens versus United.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I believe that if somebody overturns, I had several discussions about this, so it came to my attention if someone tries to overturn this case, it would be super important. On January 1st, 2010, the Supreme Court issued a ruling in Citizens United versus, oh, I don't know what it's called, FEC. No, that's okay. Hold on. The court held that the free speech clause of the First Amendment prohibits the government from restricting independent expenditures for political campaigns by corporations, including nonprofit corporations, labor unions, and other associations. The major impact of this was that corporations are people and removed reasonable campaign contribution limits, allowing a small group of wealthy donors and special interests to use dark money to influence elections. And the case is called Citizens United v. FEC. But yeah, I mean, if someone like me can figure this out, certainly someone with a law degree can help.
Well,
Yeah. If you pass the bar, you are already so corrupt.
what?
No, I'm just kidding.
I love it. I love it. I think you need I think you need another rule so you can break it properly. If you can't beat them, join them. And I think you have a good mission and a good idea. It's like this: if everybody has high-powered rifles and we're going around with spears and crossbows, we ain't gonna make it. You adapt or die. So to me, you become the telephone booth, or like the dinosaurs. They didn't adapt. You don't see telephone booths everywhere. It's an extreme example, but it's how I feel about it. We see these things, and who's to say we can start another Ben and Jerry's type of company where they had street food for people, and if you're from a certain community, you get a discount. And if you're from another community, you pay a little bit more to help the others who don't have as much. That's economic. That's balancing economic inequality. But people sit here. I used to live in Auburn, and over in this one area called North Auburn, they call it Mexico. They say, don't go there, it's all bad. Every time I go there, I see true entrepreneurs. There's Latino people with little temporary tents up selling street tacos and selling gazpacho and selling paletero, whatever they can to make money. And to me, that's what it takes. You gotta own it. You have to own your economy and keep the money and vote with your own dollars. To me, that's why I think gypsies are effective, whether they're Romney or Irish peddlers, and East Indian people come together and they dominate a certain industry, and like, this is what we're doing, we're gonna make money, we're gonna do it successfully, we're gonna go for it. But we vote with our dollars and often we forget that, I think. We just give it away, the economic power that we have.
And convenience will kill us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
7-Eleven on every
I
corner.
love 7-Eleven taquitos, come on, fuck that shit up. They're like, oh, I feel bad. I should have talked to bro over there who I saw on Instagram ordered food, but I don't want to wait 2-3 hours. I just go to 7-Eleven. Ubiquity is very real. I get cigarettes and I get my fucking Monster. I'm good.
You know, I'm not against corporations, but I think, Pancake, you and I had a conversation one time, and you had remarked something about what if we illegalize greed? But putting a limit on greed is a noble thing.
Yeah.
It's something that should be contemplated on if it's, possible.
That'll just breed secrecy and a deeper, darker black market that will it, fucking oh shit. People will go missing in your life, and you'll be like, hey, where's Jim? I don't know. He came. He was here yesterday. Yeah, I haven't seen Judy either. Oh, all these names are beginning with J.
Dumb people go missing every day anyhow.
Yeah, there's 7 billion people in the world. We'll lose track of some.
Everybody get Mike to the next round. You are not qualified.
Chilling. I think I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Do you have anything to plug before we bounce?
Studio night. Got us out.
Edge Studios, right? Edge Studios
I
live.
love it. Edge
In
Studios
the Tenderloin.
live. Edge of Insanity. Paul Brumbaugh.
Yeah, thanks,
Paul.
Paul.
BRUMBAUGH.com. That's paulbrumbaugh.com. And we're here on the Edge of Insanity trying to wear the mask of sanity. And it says no smoking, but by the sound of my voice, you can tell I don't agree with that. There we are. You guys have been fantastic. And I love it. I look forward to more intellectual stimulation.
Thanks, Kama.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Pancake Syrup King.
Scissor.
Anywhere, everywhere. Pancake Syrup King. At. Is it? Am I not getting followers because I'm not saying at first?
Perhaps.
I know.
As I scratch my philosopher's beard, maybe that is the issue.
It's like, are you gonna get the website right if there's no www?
Come on. Did you not get the hyperlink? I mean, are you slow? You need HTTPS?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's gotta be secure.
Hypertext
Are you
protocol.
done?
This-
Did you?
Yes, thanks, everybody.
Oh, you didn't get that last bit?
I sure did.
Okay.
Alright, bye.
I love looking at this appointment like, you didn't get that last bit? That's
Yeah, we
unacceptable."
got it all, Patrick. We
That
got
was
it all.
great. That was great.
Okay.
Patrick, you did this boss role really great. He's like, hold on a
And
second.